Hey everybody, and welcome to the video all about installing this new Airspool HS12. This is the Super Heat solar hybrid quick and easy mini split air conditioner with a heat pump. This mini split is capable of heating down to -22 degrees Fahrenheit, all while running completely on solar. And the best thing about it is that it's got the new quick and easy connections that require no pumping, no vacuums, no gauges. All you gotta do is quick connect the lines and you are good. This is quite possibly the easiest mini split install that you will ever see. I plan to get this done in just a couple of hours. There's the buddy. There's the boy. Come here, buddy. Me and Quill are gonna be sticking out the winter in this cabin with this new Airspool Super Heat unit, along with the help of a little bit of other stuff too. Oh, what's the matter? I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Okay, I'm gonna start opening these packages, show you what comes in the boxes, and start installing it. I plan on having this entire system installed and functioning by the end of the day, including the 2,000 watts of solar panels from Santan Solar that I'm gonna be hooking up directly to this Airspool mini split. All right, so I'm gonna start out with the smallest box. This came with the shipment for the Airspool. I already cut the tape open, but inside this box here is a nice DC switch. Out on the ground next to the cabin, I'm gonna have 2,000 watts of Santan solar panels. Click the link in the description if you wanna get some for yourself. But this switch is gonna be going in between the 2,000 watts of solar panels and the mini split air conditioner. This is a nice little thing to add to the installation. It gives you a lot more control. You can turn your solar panels on or off right here, and you don't have to worry about disconnecting lines or anything like that. You can just shut them down right from the switch. It's cool that they included that. They also included a data sheet, which I'm gonna look over just to make sure that I do it right. But this is a PV isolation switch. I do believe with this switch, you're just getting a switch. This is not a breaker that's gonna trip if there's a short. The next thing I'm gonna open up is this long slender box. Inside of this box, you have the evaporator that is gonna be going inside the cabin. That's gonna be going right up above me on the wall right here. So let's open this up and take a look at the new HS12 Super Heat mini split with a heat pump, solar hybrid mini split with quick and easy connections. Awesome. That's a lot of words for an air conditioner. When we open the box, this is what we have here. Packed in styrofoam, packed very nicely, of course. Here is the remote control. It's the same remote control that I have on my mini splits inside the school bus. So that's exactly the same. It comes with a little wall holder bracket so you can put it right next to your light switch and always have it in a convenient place if you need this remote. Then over here, we have a bag of parts to put everything in. Even comes with gloves. This looks a little different than the last kit that I got. Looks a little bit more complete. We'll be going through this a little bit more detail once I start getting into the install. This is a funny little thing that I've never seen before. Let's see if I can get it out. I have no idea what this even is. Okay. Oh my goodness, what's really in there?
One eternity later.
Okay, there we go. Wow. I have no idea what this is. Holy smokes, this is crazy. Wow, they've even provided this, this drill bit. I don't know what kind of material this is for, but this seems like very heavy duty. Look at this. This is, I believe, a 2.5-inch hole saw that you could probably go through lots of different materials. But man, for them to include this is like $50 at least at a hardware store. So comes with a hole saw to drill the hole. This is a seriously complete kit that you don't need much of anything to install. That's so crazy that they included that, because in the last installation that you just saw when I was in Las Vegas installing one of these for a friend, we actually stopped what we were doing, ran to the hardware store and got a 2.5-inch hole saw. Amazing. All right, so this is the inside unit. Just gonna take it out and kind of unwrap it here. In the bottom of the box, they also give you your PV wires that you need to connect your solar panels to the unit. That is amazing. I made my own cables in the last video, but this is cool. I was gonna have to buy some of these because I need to hook up the solar panel array, and I was short. So I'm so glad that they included these in the box. This is not cheap, you know, like this is another $50 worth of equipment right here. And then they also put a packing list in the box where they check off every single thing that needs to be included. Pretty cool. I really like these guys. I've dealt with them before. They're in the United States. Before I get too far into this video, I would like to let you know that this is a sponsored video by Airspool. This product was provided to me to test and review on my channel, so consider that when watching this review. In my videos where I feature an Airspool mini split, typically it is sold by Santan Solar, but this one is not available at Santan Solar yet. You must go directly to Airspool. Go to airspool.com. I will leave the link in the description of this video, and you can get your Super Heat Airspool mini split from Airspool directly. I'm also gonna leave a link to Santan Solar in the description of this video, so if you need solar panels, all of the solar panels that are gonna be connected to this unit are provided by Santan Solar. You can get them shipped directly to your house for extremely cheap. I think these panels I got were 40 bucks each. All right, so this is the evaporator unit that's gonna be going on the wall just above me, right up here. This is the part that goes inside, that heats the air, blows it into your space, or cools the air and blows it into your space. It looks exactly the same from what I can see on the front here, but I can definitely tell there's some differences on the back. All right, look down here. This is totally different from the other unit. It has these quick connect lines. They're all wrapped up. I'm gonna go ahead and leave them wrapped up until I am ready to install this. You have your condensation hose, but then you also have this, which is very interesting. You don't even have to land your terminals on the unit. That's already done for you. All you gotta do is snap these together with your outside unit and you're good to go. That is pretty impressive. Also, one of the first things you're gonna wanna do is there's a screw right here in the center. You're just gonna remove this Phillips head screw. That will remove the bracket that you're gonna be putting on your wall. I was about to go look for a screwdriver, but I thought maybe I should just look in this bag of tools and stuff like that that came with it and see what we got here. But one thing I see is a drill bit as well. So that's pretty crazy. Could give you tools like that. A whole roll of electrical tape. That is awesome. They give you a roll of tape. They give you even a pair of work gloves to install your system. Maybe I'll use those. Oh, and then I see right here, check these things out. This is cool. And sure enough, in the package, there is a Phillips head driver for a drill right there. That's pretty cool. They give you a driver for a Phillips head screw, which I can take this screw out with the tools included. They also included 2 more drill bits and this cute little level. Look at how cute that is. I think this is a pretty good setup to do this yourself without needing help from anyone else. Remove this little screw here, and then your bracket comes off, and you can use this bracket to put up on your wall. Easy peasy. All right, so get down here nice and low with me while we open up this outside unit. This is the condenser part that's gonna be going on the outside of the building, right on the other side of this wall. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna try to, pretty sure this lid just lifts straight off. Yeah, there we go. All right. All right, there we go. All right, this is packed a little bit differently. I like this step where they shrink wrap it. I think that will hold things together a little bit better and, you know, try to avoid damage in shipments for sure. All right, we take that. We have a table. Look at that. We got a styrofoam table, guys. Yeah, these are packed differently and I like it. I think it's an improvement. I think this is gonna hold things together slightly better than the old way they were doing it. One more layer of shrink wrap. All right, there we go. So this does look a little different from my old unit as far as like the hoses and how all of this is put together. It's got the quick connect lines on the end of the refrigerant hoses. Over here, all of this is already closed up. Everything's already connected. You don't have to land any wires. You don't have to hook up any refrigerant lines. Right here, they also included a pigtail for solar wires. So this will be able to connect out to the other wires that they provided that go over to the solar panel array. So that's pretty cool. This is a little different than the last one I did, and I like it. It seems more thoughtful and more inclusive of everything that you might need to install this thing. Pretty freaking cool. Over here is already connected the power wire. All the wires are already landed on your unit. This is gonna run over to your outlet if you choose to use one, or you can just run it directly on solar and nothing else if you wish. Let's flip this around so you can see what the front is gonna be looking like. As far as I can tell, this looks like the same case, the same design as the old unit, but with different components inside. I absolutely love my Airspool units that are in my school bus, and I'm sure I am going to love this one too. This one's gonna be even better. In this box as well is a roll of UV protectant tape, so you can wrap your line set once you have it all set up. I may not be using this for right now because I think what I'm gonna do is run the line set inside the wall. This is not a finished building, so I don't have any drywall on the walls. I could just run the line set directly through the wall up to the unit and then out at an outlet down here, I think is what I'm gonna do. This sheet of paper was attached to the condenser unit. Tells you instructions on how to mold your lines to the right thing. I don't even wanna say bend because you don't really wanna bend your lines. You wanna massage them gently and make sure your turns are very smooth and you don't kink the hose. The copper lines can kink very easily. So this gives you some precautions on what to watch for when you're messing with your lines. Out here on the ground is where this unit is going to be living for right now. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that looks great. I got these 24 by 24 by 2 inch. Oh, hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Hi, who's that good boy? I got these 24 by 24 by 2 inch blocks that I'm going to be mounting this mini split on. Hi. Hi. Oh, I got your face. There are limitations on the length of this line set. I believe it is 4 meters, which is about 13 feet. So pretty much this is going to be going through the wall, directly up to the unit and connect like that. I think we're going to be, just enough space to do that. I'm going to leave this outside unit here for right now. I'm going to go inside and I'm going to be installing the evaporator first. I want to get that set and then I'll run the lines through and then I'll make a decision on where this unit is going to be depending on how far the lines are. Quill, what are you doing, buddy? I'm going to get you. All right, so right up here, I've already made a mark. I don't know if you can see on camera, but this is dead center on this 12-foot wall. This is the short side of the cabin. The other direction is 16 feet. So I wanted it directly centered on this wall, the short wall, and it can blow air all the way through the long side of the cabin. I think this will be a great place to circulate the air property and heat and cool this building very well. I'm gonna be timing the process of this installation because I believe it's only gonna take a couple hours, including setting up the solar panels and putting those all out and everything. I'm gonna be starting my timer right after I do one small thing to get this ready for the bracket that's gonna be holding the evaporator. I'm gonna go get a small scrap of plywood or something like that and make a backer board that the evaporator is gonna connect to. I'm just gonna put something up here because obviously I don't have drywall. All I have is 2x4s to connect to, which might be fine, but I'd like to have a backer that makes it nice and smooth and it's gonna be fastened to this wall. And then I can fasten the mini split any way I want. I'll be timing this installation, but I'm gonna start right after I make this backer board because this isn't part of a typical installation. You're already gonna have finished walls or whatever. So I'm gonna build this, then I'm gonna start timing how long it takes to put this thing in. Now that I got this beautiful backing plate up here, I can go about mounting the entire air conditioning and getting it fully installed. One thing I am going to need is a hole around here somewhere. I'm going to use an oscillating saw to cut out a square hole. I'm going to make it much bigger than it needs to be because this isn't sealed or anything. So I'm just going to make a nice big hole that I can run the lines through very easily and disconnect them very easily when I go to put the drywall in this building. But yeah, this backer board is very securely attached. There's 8 screws holding it to the 2x4s. It's actually not centered on this wall. I wanted to connect to the 2x4s. I didn't want to end it here and have the mini split overhang, so I just ran it long It's a little bit further to the front of the building than it is the back, but the mini split is going to be centered on this mark right here, not this board. So it's going to have a little extra space on one side. It'll be fine. I would really like to showcase how quick and easy it is to install one of these mini splits. So I'm going to be timing it. Here on my phone, I have a stopwatch. I'm going to be starting it as soon as I start working on this. And I want to show you just how quick and easy it is to install an entire mini split system. What I'm going to do is I'm going to install all of the mini split components first, get it all functioning, and then I'm going to switch over to the solar panel array and I'll put all of those out, and I'll be doing it all today. One day, and it's already 11:09. I'm going to be using this stopwatch to start and stop when I'm working on this. But if I work right through, I'll just show you what time it is when I'm done. But it's 11:10 right now. It just switched to 11:10. And I'm going to be starting this stopwatch right now, right before I start installing any of the stuff. There we go. Time is running. I got to get to work. All right, bye. All right, so I have already made my center mark. All I have to do is line up this center hole perfectly with my center mark. And I'm going to drop one screw in there. And I'm going to just eyeballing the space from here to here and the space from here to here. It doesn't need to be perfect. I do want it to look good while it's up here, but it's not going to be up here for a really long time. This is just to keep me warm during these winter months. So now that I've got this center screw in, all I got to do is grab a level, throw it on there, make sure it's level, and put the rest of the screws in. All right, now I've got it perfectly level. I'm gonna go ahead and throw a couple more screws in here. Just a little level, no big deal. So now that I have my bracket installed on the wall, it's nice and level, I'm gonna refer to the manual and find out where they tell me to drill this hole. This section of the manual right here has the details on where you should be putting your hole. I'm gonna make mine much bigger. I'm probably gonna cut out right here a big, huge square so that I can easily run the lines. I'm gonna go grab the oscillating saw. So I got the oscillating saw out. First, I'm gonna draw a nice square hole to put things through. So like I said, this hole is going to be much bigger than you need. You only need a 2.5 inch hole. All right, so back up the ladder we go. Fish these lines through. All right, so now the unit is fastened in place. I'm gonna be taking this loose again, maybe not totally off, but I'm gonna be pulling it away from the wall to connect these refrigerant lines. You might be wondering like, okay, you got these two lines, but where's the refrigerant? The refrigerant is gonna come from the outside up through the wall and meet up with this. So once I get done with the outside unit, which I'm gonna be switching to next, then I'm gonna be running those refrigerant lines up and connecting them to this unit. One thing that I am forever doing is installing things in an unconventional way. This one is the same deal. What I did was I just cut a outlet-sized hole in this wall, and I'm gonna be running everything through this hole. Since this is just temporary, I'm going to use this hole as a pass-through for my condensation line, my power lines, and my refrigeration lines. Once I really get going with progress on this cabin, I will be installing a regular outlet here, a waterproof one that's gonna face the outside of the building so that the air conditioner can plug into it. But for right now, it's going to be just a pass-through for my refrigeration lines, and I'll block all this up with some wood or whatever so that mice or pests or whatever can't get in. I'm starting to do this outside unit. I'm going to pass this power line through because I will be plugging this in to power on the inside of the building. Like I said, in the future, this will be an actual outdoor weatherproof outlet that this will remain plugged into all the time. And I'll have a regular 120 volt outlet here connected to my solar system. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna very carefully start straightening these lines out a little bit in preparation for moving them to the inside of the cabin. These lines can be very delicate and you want to treat them with the utmost care. So be very careful when you're dealing with these lines. You don't want to kink them. One thing I'm going to do to keep these lines nice and neat without bending or kinking them is I'm actually going to move this unit out kind of far away. Yeah. So as you can see, I'm doing this very gingerly so I don't get any kinks or bends. And now I can just walk this in closer to the building and have that line go inside. So I'm sure that you guys can tell the care that I'm taking to mold these lines directly the way I want them. You definitely have to be so careful with these lines, not to bend them and not to kink them. That's a pretty good approximation for the outside lines for right now. I'm gonna be tightening all this up later. I'm gonna go inside now and see how far this reaches. I may need to slide the unit closer so that the lines actually go all the way up to the evaporator inside. All right, so you can see how much room we've actually got here. One thing I could do here is just measure. We got about almost 6 feet there, and we've got to go just about 6 feet there. So I think we're gonna be just fine. And one thing I like to do when I'm doing this work, I like to take a little piece of wood, like a little block or something, and push this up. And then put your block of wood in here so that it's sitting on the bracket, but it's held out from the wall a little bit so you can work on it easier. I probably should have unwrapped these lines first, so I don't have to do this all up in here, but unwrap this end as well. Okay, look at that, man. Just look at these connectors here. These are quick connectors. You can just pop them on real quick, super easy. You don't have to worry about vacuums or gauges or torque wrenches or anything. You can tighten these down. That is pretty cool. This is the new quick and easy quick connect mini split from Airspool. Totally DIY. Anybody can do this. Okay, so now I'm just gonna very gently bring these lines up. Make a nice curve to go through the wall. So now that I have the lines ran up there, it does appear that I need probably about 12 more inches of line. So I'm gonna go outside, scoot down the mini split a little bit further so I can get a little bit more of this refrigerant line inside the building to connect up there. All right, so I've moved it down some. I got plenty of extra line inside now to connect to the inside unit. One thing I might need to do is just lift this up, pull these blocks out and slide them down because they're a little off-centered now. But that's something I can do anytime, no problem. Just to give you an idea of where we're at, it has been about an hour. It's 12:12 right now. The stopwatch is running at 1 hour and 2 minutes, and we're nearly there. All right, so what I found out after reviewing the owner's manual is that you don't even need any wrenches to connect these fittings at all. You just do them by hand, get them down nice and tight, and you're good to go. So I'm gonna start doing that right now. Another thing that they considered when putting these ends on is that they can only go one way, so you can't do it wrong. The two small hoses obviously are gonna go together, so those are gonna go. This one is the small hose connected to that small hose, so I'm just gonna get that started on there. Threads nice and easily, and you just, yeah, got that started. Now for the big line. So now I've got both of them started, and I just need to tighten them all the way down until you can't see this little black O-ring anymore. So it's gonna be squeezed all the way down there. Let me put some gloves on and I'll be right back. They provided gloves for this, so I'm gonna wear them. I don't think these are exactly one size fits all, but I can get my big hands in these little These little tiny gloves. These are pretty little. Okay. Oh my goodness. They're so little. There is a lot of threads on these fittings. So you just gotta keep on going. I know it's a little uncomfortable, but you just keep on going until it's down all the way. All right. Woo. All right, so I just got the little line done. It is snugged up all the way close, and it's really easy to tell when it's tight because it just kind of stops. It totally snugs up tight, and then you're finished. I'm not looking forward to doing this one. The biggest challenge with this part is just working in this tight space underneath the evaporator. All right, I decided to try it from the other side because this is, oh, I know what I can do too. I can move this over here, get me a little bit more height. Yeah, there we go. I might have exaggerated a little bit when I said that anybody could do this because, you know, a little tiny arthritic old lady would definitely have trouble with this part. This is definitely the most difficult part of the entire install though. Whew, I'm almost there. Oh, just working over your head makes your muscles burn. This is also something that's a little more difficult when you're by yourself. If you had another person, you could be holding this unit out from the wall, and one person holds the unit and the other person tightens the fittings. We're so close. So freaking close, buddy. I got the deep burn. I just got about one more turn to do. Whew. Okay. Now to just get these gloves off, which were way too small for me. Okay. So the refrigerant lines are connected to the evaporator from the condenser now. All I gotta do now, I'm just gonna shape this line so that it comes over here nice and neat to the stud. The last thing I need to do here really is I wanna just shape these lines a little bit so they come over here to the stud, and then I will be bundling them all together with zip ties and whatnot. But I want this to fit in here nice and neat and tight, because then I can pull all the slack out on the outside and put the air conditioner a little bit closer to where it was before. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna walk out there and slide it down some. One thing that I think makes a really huge difference in a job when they're gonna be installing something or whatever, thing that makes a really big difference is your cable management. That can set apart a job from being a spectacular job or being a very sloppy and unprofessional looking job. So I always spend a little bit of extra time to route the wires really nicely, get everything hidden as best as I can, and tucked away just like really nicely. All of my refrigerant lines are connected. The only other thing I need to connect is this connector. This connector will hook up the inside unit to the outside unit. All you have to do is remove this little cap here, let that hang, and then put it in. It only goes in one way. Okay, that's it. Connector is on. Alrighty, so the entire installation of the mini split is finished. Let's get a time check here. Time is 1:03. That means it took me less than 2 hours to install the mini split portion. As you can see, we're at 1 hour and 53 minutes. I still need to do the solar panels, but easily you can do this entire installation, the mini split plus the solar panels, in just one day. It's pretty amazing. The only thing that is not hooked up is the power for this air conditioner. For that, I'm gonna be using the EcoFlow Delta Pro. We will take our power plug. This is actually connected to the outside condenser that I have running through the wall right here. And I'm going to plug it into our inverter. I have it plugged in. I'm going to turn the inverter on. I'm gonna remove this protective film. We don't need that. All right, here's the moment of truth, guys. I'm going to power it on for the first time. Hey, it's set at 79 degrees. For its first cycle, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn it on cooling because it's an air conditioner. I just wanna run it through a cooling cycle, make sure it's cooling, and then I'll switch it over to heat. So here we go. I'm just gonna hit that cool button. And it's starting to crank up. I'm also gonna set the temperature way down to like 60 degrees because it's very cold out already. All right, yeah, we're set at 61 degrees now. I'm gonna pay attention to some of the little details with this install. Like for example, I'll probably get like a little strap to connect this to the wall and make it look a little bit neater. Outside's pretty much done, but I do have to hook up all the solar panels, but oh yeah. Yeah, we're blowing cold already. Heck yeah, that is so cool. I'm gonna let it run like this for just a little while, see how it goes, make sure it's functioning properly. I'll go check out the outside unit, just make sure everything's going good. After I installed the mini split, I decided to spend the rest of the evening setting out the solar panels and just making sure that the sun would hit them properly and everything would look good. Unfortunately, the place where I first chose to put the panels, they get a little bit too much shade than I would like. So I'm going to be moving these over to the other side of the cabins on the garden side. I'm going to need to get a little bit longer solar panel wires in order to make the distance over to the other side of the cabin, but I'll be able to get a lot more sun, a lot less shade early in the morning and late at night. That's the worst part about having the panels where I put them behind the cabins, is that I just got a little bit too much shade at night and in the morning. And it just wasn't great. There's too many things kind of around that area. I've been using the Airspool Super Heat for about a week now, and it is freaking awesome. I came out into the cabin tonight in order to wait until it was like cold enough to kind of give it a little test. I'm not really going to be able to test this thing until the temperatures get down to freezing and below. Sometimes they get down to 0. That's when I'm going to really be able to put this to the test. So this winter, I'm going to be using this Airspool quite a lot, and I'll be giving you an update very soon on its performance in like super cold temperatures. The way I intend to use this mini split is really not for heat in the middle of the night. These things do take quite a lot of power, not compared to like a home heater or something like that. They're very efficient, but compared to like solar systems, what they can handle, you wouldn't want to run your heat pump all through the night. It just takes too much power. Get up. The way I intend to use this mini split this winter is I intend to use it when the sun is out. All throughout the day, I can leave this on for completely free, and I can have hot air being blown into the room, and that will make it very nice and comfortable during the day. At night, I will probably be using the wood stove a little bit more and the diesel heaters a little bit more, but it will be nice all throughout the day to run the air conditioner or to run the heat pump in this mini split and heat the cabin, keep it nice and comfortable all throughout the day for free just on solar panels. We are in the cabin right now, and the mini split has been turned. We're in the cabin right now, and the mini split has not been on. I'm gonna turn it on for just a little while and turn the heat on and give you a screen recording of how much power it's pulling, what the app looks like, and all of that stuff. I'm going to be turning it on right now. Right now, it is 8:43 p.m. at night, and we are in the cabin that is about halfway finished. I did get some insulation on the ceiling, Those walls over there are covered in insulation, but these behind me are not. About halfway there. So another day's worth of work on insulation and it will be fully insulated. I'm gonna go ahead and open up the Airspool app right here, and I'm gonna be putting the screen capture up so you can kind of see what the app works like and all of that stuff. So we'll just click on Airspool right here and we're gonna power on. This is the cabin Super Heat 1. So we're gonna go ahead and power that on and put it in heating mode right now. I got it at 76. We're gonna crank it up to 80 degrees. And it takes a little bit for the juices to start flowing and for this thing to actually start heating. It'll take about a minute before it really ramps up and really gets going. While this thing is getting up to speed and starting to get its juices flowing, I want to show you historical data here because I've been using it for about a week now. There's a little bit of data here, and as you can see, I produced 37,000 watt hours of power just through the solar panels using no other electricity, just running this through the day. I believe I was running the air conditioner because it's actually been uncommonly warm at this time of year. So you go to the previous day and you can see that I used a lot of solar power during the day, and at night I turned the heater on because we were hanging out in here for a little bit, and I used some power at night as well. And then you can go to the previous day, kind of a similar thing where I used solar throughout the day and then a little bit of heat at night. And then the previous day, this was when I was getting the solar panels hooked up, so I used a little bit more electric on my battery bank than I did the solar power energy. And then this day I used mostly all solar. A little bit of both. But as you can see, it's really cool that you can track and see how much energy you're using right here in the app. So the first day that I got this hooked up was November 5th, and today is currently November 12th. So we've been running this thing for a week straight now, and it has been performing awesome. I can't tell you how well it's really gonna work down to like 0 degrees or negative 22 degrees because I haven't experienced that level of cold yet, but it's on the way. Next week, it's showing that it's gonna snow on Friday, so we got 1 week before snow is gonna come. I got a wood stove going in over there in the corner. I'm gonna be putting a diesel heater in this window, and of course, throughout the day, I'll be heating this place for free with the Super Heat mini split from Airspool. Okay, so now the air conditioner is really on a roll. It is pulling about 800 watts out of the EcoFlow Delta Pro right now, and it's starting to get up to temperature. It shows that it is currently only 60 degrees inside of here. We're gonna let this run on 80 degrees and see how long it's gonna take before it heats this room up and kind of chills out some. But we can see the temperature right there in the center of the app, and it tells you what the current temperature is and what you're set at. The app is really cool. It has tons of controls. I haven't even messed with most of the automation controls or scheduling. You could set all of this up on a schedule so it completely works automatically. You can also set it up so that it doesn't pull anything from your power grid or your battery bank. You can make it just run on solar panels if you wish. So that is a huge bonus when talking about a solar hybrid mini split like this. All right, but so it's been running for about 6 or 7 minutes now, and you can see that the power consumption has really climbed up now. We're getting close to 1,300 watts. That's about the maximum you're gonna see getting pulled out of this thing, I believe. I don't know what it might be like when you get down to 0 degrees or negative 10 degrees or 20 degrees, something like that. But yeah, it's over 1,300 watts. While this is very efficient for a home, this is nothing compared to like a furnace or something like that. This is a little bit much for those of us who are living on lithium batteries or battery bank. This will drain your batteries overnight. So I'm gonna have other sources of heat to keep the place warm throughout the night, like my wood stove and a diesel heater. I think relying on a combination of several different sources of heat for the winter will be very successful for me. I think I'll be very comfortable in this cabin. I'm gonna be getting it all hooked up in the next couple days here. I was just looking on the app here and it shows that it has climbed up to 66 degrees already. So that's a big improvement. We've gone up 6 degrees in only 7 minutes. This thing really keeps this cabin nice and cozy and warm. I love it. It is such a nice type of heat that comes out of this. Very gentle, very cozy. I really love it a lot. Another thing that I'd like to show you real quick is the same type of numbers. Instead of coming through the Airspool app, I'm showing you the EcoFlow app now. When you go into the EcoFlow Delta, you can see that it is pulling out 1,470 watts right now. That is quite a large draw for something to be running overnight. The estimated time that the EcoFlow Delta Pro will be able to run this heater is 2 hours and 12 minutes based on its current consumption right now. So this is showing you a slightly higher number because it's factoring in the inverter loss and conversion it takes to run this. But you know, they're pretty close. Like this is saying 1.5, so 1,500 watts. This one is saying 1,362 watts. So they're pretty close, but the EcoFlow is also showing some inverter loss and things like that. But in this short amount of time, we're already up to 69 degrees. I will be checking in as soon as I see this thing hit 80 degrees. We'll see how long it takes. I've been watching the clock like a hawk. It is 9:38 right now, and it just showed 80 degrees a second ago. You'll be able to see it. It went back down to 78, but it was on there. It said 80 degrees. It's been going up and down a little bit, but it's reached 80 degrees in here in a very cold area. We are in Williams, Arizona, and let's see, it's saying it's 49 degrees outside. So being able to get this up to 80 degrees in here in an unfinished, uninsulated cabin, I think is pretty dang good. Once I get the rest of the insulation in here and the temperature really drops, we'll see how well this thing can perform in the coming months. Check back in real soon and I'll give you an update on how well this thing is doing in sub-zero temperatures that are coming really soon right here at this homestead. I would like to give a big thank you to Airspool for sponsoring this video and sending out this superheat unit for me to test and review on my channel. I think it's awesome so far, and I will be letting you know how well it does in the long run. I would also like to thank Santan Solar for providing the solar panels that are connected to this mini split out there on my in my yard. There will be links to both of these guys in the description of this video below. If you would like to get your hands on an Airspool Superheat unit, click the Airspool link in the description. If you would like to get some solar panels, maybe a different Airspool unit that Santan carries, because they just don't carry this superheat unit, go ahead and click the link to Santan in the description of this video below. Thank you to Santan and Airspool for sponsoring this channel. Thank you very much for watching this video. Can't wait to give you an update on how it's doing in the future, and I hope to see you again real soon, right down the road.